You must go because really you're not going to hear a concert like this very often. If you go to an Eagles concert, you're going to hear 15, 20 great Eagles songs. And if you go to a lot of concerts, you're going to hear a couple of great songs and a bunch of stuff that you don't know, and you have to kind of get through it. This, you're going to hear songs from, we mentioned the Eagles. We'll do an Eagles song, but we're also going to do Earth, Wind, and Fire in Chicago, and Ray Charles, and the B-52s, and oh gosh, I can't even think. Just an eclectic bunch of music that most people will really like. I mean, granted, I'm an older guy, so I'm attracted to music from the 70s and the 80s, but and so it kind of reflects that. But there's some newer stuff too. Hi, my name is Bill Wells. I'm the mayor of the city of El Cajon, and I'm here today because I'm talking about a concert that we're doing. I'm also a musician, and every once in a while I'll do benefit concerts. And this time I'm doing a benefit concert for the Home of Guiding Hands. It's going to be on Saturday, January 14th at 5:00 p.m. at the Magnolia Theater in downtown El Cajon. And if you're interested in this, you want to learn more, take a listen. So when did I first hear about the Home of Guiding Hands? So, being the mayor is a part-time job. And all of us who are mayors of the cities have another career, at least let's hope so. Or otherwise you couldn't pay your bills, because being mayor doesn't pay enough I joke that it's about enough to make my car payment. But that's okay. It's not about money, but I got to make money like everybody else. So I'm an RN and a psychologist. And so I've worked in mental health since 1988, and worked at most of the different hospitals around town doing psychiatric evaluations, mostly in the emergency room setting. My wife's also a psychologist, by the way. And as a result of doing psychiatric evaluations in the ER, I had a lot of patients come through that were part of the Home of Guiding Hands network. The Home of Guiding Hands worked with special needs folks, what we used to call mental retardation, what we call now called developmental disability. And so a lot of their patients will come through the hospital. So I got to know that organization through a clinical way. And then later, when I became mayor, it was clear to me that the Home of Guiding Hands, which is the largest provider of DD services in San Diego, they've got 4,000 clients. They're located in El Cajon, their corporate headquarters. And so I got to know them pretty well at that level. And so I had invited them all to come to some of my other concerts, and they came and they enjoyed it. And then they approached me about 6 months ago and asked if I would do this concert for them. This fundraiser is maybe a little bit different than some of the other fundraisers that I've done in that we're not really selling tickets this time. I think they've set aside a few tickets to sell some of the VIPs to raise a little bit of money. But for the most part, there was an organization that came, and a benefactor that wanted to give a present to the people that were in the program, their family and their caregivers, a chance for them to get out and have a concert just for them so they could have a good time. So he paid for the entire thing, bought all the tickets. And so that's really, really, really a neat thing. And so that's why that's how that's working this year. I think they will raise some money. That they have some auction items, specifically a couple of Taylor guitars, one signed by Jason Mraz, because Jason Mraz is really involved with the Home of Guiding Hands as well. It's been an important charity for him. So he went ahead and signed one of the guitars. So they're going to auction that off. I think that will probably go for a fair amount of money. As far as the concert itself, you're going to hear some really top-notch musicians, some of the best in San Diego County. In fact, I got a couple of people coming from outside of San Diego flying in from the East Coast to be part of this. But I think the thing that people like the most is that I'm really careful about the music that I choose. One of the things I really hate is going to a concert of somebody that you loved when you were a kid, and you go and hear their concert and they say, well, we're not going to play any of the hits. We're just going to play stuff off the new album. And everybody goes, oh gosh, I don't want to hear things I don't know. I want to hear songs I know. And so I'm really careful about that. And I've been real careful about choosing the songs that everybody likes. I spent a lot of time thinking about it in my own mind, listening to it in the car, talking to friends of mine, talking to family. My wife's, my biggest confidant, and she's pretty good at choosing too. And we choose songs that everybody knows and everybody really likes. My goal is that at each new song you say, "Oh, I love this song," and you know all the words and you sing along and you dance with it and you say, and that's kind of the feedback that we've gotten over the last 3 shows, is that people just had a great time because every song was good. And I think that's really more important than trying to show off your own talent. I think musicians sometimes are very easily led down the path of trying to pick songs that maybe nobody knows, but really shows how great they are. And because a lot of times the really popular songs are simple and they don't really show off, but I don't care. I think you choose the songs people like. So that's what they're going to see. Now, aside from that, aside from the band, the Home of Guiding Hands has a music therapy program called Banding Together, where the clients have formed their own band and they've been working on songs for quite a while. And they're going to come up at the intermission and they're going to do a couple of songs. And that should be fun too. And then at the end, I think we're going to bring a lot of the clients up to sing the last song with us. It's all about just having a great time and letting loose and having fun. The larger message is that Home of Guiding Hands is a worthwhile organization. It's worth your time and your talent and your treasure. And if you want to, if you feel touched by what you see there and kind of what we're doing there, I think there's certainly room for people to volunteer their time or to donate money to the program, because they, like any other mental health program, they're on a shoestring budget and they're just trying to get by. You must go because really you're not going to hear a concert like this very often. If you go to an Eagles concert, you're going to hear 15, 20 great Eagles songs. And if you go to a lot of concerts, you're going to hear a couple of great songs and a bunch of stuff that you don't know, and you have to kind of get through it. You're going to hear songs from, we mentioned the Eagles. We'll do an Eagles song, but we're also going to do Earth, Wind, and Fire in Chicago, and Ray Charles, and the B-52s, and oh gosh, I can't even think. Just an eclectic bunch of music that most people will really like. I mean, granted, I'm an older guy, so I'm attracted to music from the 70s and the 80s, but and so it kind of reflects that. But there's some newer stuff too. I mean, the reason that people should donate to nonprofits is that the truth is that most of the organizations that do the best work in our society are organizations that have very little funding. We all intuitively know that taking care of people with special needs, people with mental retardation, it's super important, especially in this respect. They take care of a lot of people that people don't think about. When you think about kids with Down syndrome or things like that, you usually think of kids. But these kids who a couple generations ago used to die very young now live full lives. And that means at some point their parents can't take care of them anymore. So they need to move out of the home setting and into a setting where they're being cared for by professional caregivers, which is extremely expensive. But they're not able to really live on their own. And so we've got to do that. The state is not really set up to fund that, at least not in a very nice way. So if these people are going to have a nice quality of life and live in a clean, safe place, the people in the community have to get together and put a little bit of money into it. And I think it's completely our responsibility to try to take care of people that can't take care of themselves. That I think that at some level that's for the homeless, but it's kind of a different story because they have some capacity to get themselves out of their own problem. But when you're talking about people with developmental disabilities, this is completely out of their own ability to pull themselves out of this. This is a state that they're going to be living in for the rest of their lives. So we really need to take care of these folks. Well, the reason I think it's important to give in general because I think that's part of being a full human being. Life is more than just taking care of yourself. And believe me, I get it. I grew up very poor. I know how hard it is to try to take care of yourself sometimes. And then you get older and you get kids, and then you're just trying to get by. But I think learning to give, even if it's a small amount, it really rounds you out as a human being, and it gives you purpose. And I think it connects you with the entire community. People that give to these organizations don't just give and walk away. They then become connected to this organization. They start to care about what happens to this organization. And so whatever tugs at your heart, whether it be the Home of Guiding Hands or the East County Transitional Living Center or your church or whatever you connect with, I think that when you give of your resources to that, it not only helps that organization, but it helps you. It helps you to live a more meaningful life. Yeah, as far as a call to action goes, I just want people to come and have a good time, support the clients, and just kind of get a chance to see a different side of life and meet some new people and have a good time, and hopefully sing songs that you enjoy and dance a little bit and just have fun.